meet you. I'm Jessica. Nice to meet you.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jessica. Nice to meet you. I'm Jessica. Nice to meet you. Do we present it here or do we present it whenever you're comfortable? Sir Ken will just go over here and present. Okay. Ken will join the exam, so go over here to present. When do we start? Good afternoon. For a lot of Chinese customers, shopping at Chow Tai Fook is an extremely emotional experience. A lot of very anxious Chinese customers first come into the stores to buy an engagement ring to propose to their girlfriends. There are also a lot of very excited parents who come to Chow Tai Fook to purchase a golden padlock which can give protection to their newborn babies. Chow Tai Fook over all these years have become the stores that Chinese customers think of and shop at whenever they need to purchase gifts during big days. However, today we're very excited to present to you our recommendation, which will create a reason for Chinese customers to shop at Chow Tai Fook, not just only during big and important moments, but instead during every single day. And we'll be doing this by incorporating the elements of feng shui into marketing and product design. By feng shui, we're not saying that it's superstition, but rather it's related to the brand name of Chow Tai Fook, where Fook actually means good blessings. A very warm welcome to you all, to Mr. Wong, judges, and ladies and gentlemen. Well, our team is very excited to be here today, and allow me to introduce ourselves. My name is Jessica, this is Christoph, Shuyu, and Kenny. So today, our recommendation aims to help Chow Tai Fook to create a unified strategy that will be able to acquire and retain customers with very fragmented needs in China, and also to build a synergy effect between the online and offline sales. Our recommendation is about the destiny of Chow Tai Fook. The first recommendation, embracing Chow Tai Fook's destiny. We're helping Chow Tai Fook to embrace its destiny as a brand of good fortune and also blessings by incorporating the feng shui elements into product designs and marketing tools. Our second recommendation is related to creating destiny for Chow Tai Fook, and it involves creating a new premium brand that will be targeting high-end customers. And the third recommendation is about securing the destiny for Chow Tai Fook by retaining the customers through the jewelry market making service. And overall, our recommendation aims to provide an extra revenue of 50 billion Hong Kong dollars in 2018. So let's take a look at the situation right now. We all know that there's a very great potential in the jewelry market in China, where the sales mainly come from the high-end and also middle-class customers. However, we identified the greatest challenge for Chow Tai Fook in terms of expanding into these markets, and that is the highly fragmented customer demands in China. In terms of styles, Tier 1 cities Tier 2 cities are looking for more modern designs, whereas lower tier cities are looking for more traditional designs. Customers from different geographical regions also have different preferences over the styles. In terms of prices, there are a lot of high net worth customers who spend more than $100,000 on jewelries, but at the same time, there's also a large group of mass luxury customers. In terms of experiences, the customers who shop online and in actual storefront are also looking for different types of services. And in terms of the purposes, a lot of customers buy jewelries in order to have the emotional needs, whereas a lot of other customers buy jewelries for the investment purpose. So despite the highly fragmented customer needs, we identify two things that all customers in China have in common. The first one is the emphasis on experience. Because buying a piece of jewelry is not like buying any other common goods, it's a piece of luxury products. All Chinese customers put a lot of emphasis on the experience, be it online, offline, or pre-sales and post-sales. The second common need of all these Chinese customers is that they have this genuine wish of having good blessings, no matter what their aspirations are. And we believe we can cater to their needs through our recommendation. So let's take a deeper look at the analysis of the customers. We identify that Chinese customers purchase jewelries for two reasons. The first is emotional needs, and the second is investment. For customers who purchase jewelry for emotional needs, they are mainly buying jewelry to commemorate big events or important days, such as birthdays and weddings. And also, the targeted customers span from the high-end luxury customers to the mass luxury customers. And they have two special needs. The first one is emphasizing on the styles and designs, and the second is about the experience and the service they're receiving when they're shopping. For customers who buy jewelry for the purpose of investments, the reason for why they buy jewelries is because the attractive store of value inside these jewelries, and that they can readily turn the jewelries into cash. So the targeted customers we identified are mass luxury customers because they have a higher need for liquidity. And for their needs, they're looking for the easy conversion of jewelries into cash and also a certificate of authenticity. So now I'll pass on to Shu Yu to elaborate more on our recommendation.
Excuse me, why do you think that this type of customer need a high degree of liquidity?
Sure. I think I can take this question. So your question is, why do they think that jewelry is a good store of value and that it can provide a high liquidity?
No, what I mean is, like, why do this customer need to have, like high degree of liquidity for investing or buying jewelry?
Sure, I think it's partly related to the deep-rooted Chinese cultural belief that purchasing gold is the safest type of investment in terms of the fluctuating economic situations, and because they feel like the value of investment can most preserved in, say, jewelries or in golds during these moments of times.
One point to add on is that these market people, which we're targeting, it's basically the mass luxury market and middle class or even lower. So it's basically that it might be the jewelry they're investing would be a certain part or a significant proportion of their total assets. And in times where economic go down, they might want to turn that back into cash for a time being, for some reason to cash up their balances. So we believe that by providing more liquidity to these mid-class or mid-low class people who are buying their first gold nugget, for example, with Chow Tai Fook, we'll be able to get a little bit more business from them.
Okay. Thank you, Jessica. As Jessica has mentioned, we must target both the mass luxury and also the high-end luxury markets. And how do we do that? We're proposing to split the current Chow Tai Fook brand up into two streams. The original Chow Tai Fook brand would still be targeting the mass luxury clients. However, we will be setting up a new brand known as the CTF Premier to target the high-end luxury brands who have special needs.
Excuse me, why Chow Tai Fook Premier? Is that Chow Tai Fook not good enough to position itself as a high-end jewelry brand?
We understand that because we're targeting such a wide spectrum of clients, we're afraid of diluting the brand equity of Chow Tai Fook if we just use its single brand. So therefore, in order to better convey the central message of what Chow Tai Fook stands for, we're considering setting up a premier brand to cater for the increasing or special needs of these high-end luxury markets.
I can see an argument about how that might help the high end. But wouldn't that hurt the mass market? Because the mass luxury market, they like to go into a store that is perceived as high end. And now if they're going into the second class store, it loses some of the allure.
I think the main reason that we've decided to come up with this kind of recommendation is because of the increasing competition in mainland China with all those foreign stores, for example, Tiffany & Co. and Cartier. We observe that these Chinese consumers are increasingly going to these foreign brands and sort of staying true to the local roots. So we believe that by doing this...
Are they increasingly going to the foreign brands? I thought in terms of the luxury that Chow Tai Fook still had the greater awareness.
I think, speaking from, I would like to share a little bit of my personal experience. I've been living in China for most of my life. So when I observe people always have this sense to strive forward, to strive higher. So even if they're still consuming at the mass luxury level, they would also still want to spend a considerable amount of fortune in order to kind of go into Tiffany's and purchase that first diamond ring. So on top of the two brands, we will also be providing them with additional after-sales services in order to further enhance our overall customer experience. Now, before I go into elaborating on our recommendations, I would like to talk about what we mean by this customer experience. We observe that consumers are no longer satisfied with just having good quality products. They want to feel special from the moment that they walk into the store. And we're going to give them every penny that they pay for. So I would like to talk you through the first recommendation, which is about embracing Chow Tai Fook's destiny as a brand for good fortune and blessings.
Before you move on to that, can you explain to me, if you're going to go with two brands, you're going to have two different store formats, and what's going to be the split?
This one will be mainly targeting for the mass luxury. And
we're going to talk about the CTF Premier in just a moment, elaborating on the product features that we will be promoting.
Definitely. Okay. Thank you. So we will incorporate the element of feng shui into our sales process to enhance our overall customer experience. The reason we chose feng shui is because we believe that this is something deeply embedded in our Chinese culture and our Chinese roots. And it's a concept widely accepted by everyone in the population demographic. So it provides a big client base for us to look at. Now, the way this feng shui profiling is going to work is that customers can fill in their information at either our brick and mortar store or on the online platform, in which we will generate an individual profile for them that denotes their feng shui or their luck or their recent luck, etc. And then accordingly, we will suggest jewelry that's going to either complement or enhance their aspirations, for example, health, academics, career, etc. After they've selected the jewelry and decided to purchase, they can either do it through Tmall, which is our online platform, or they could just come and pick it up at our brick and mortar store. We've also identified some renowned Chinese feng shui masters who we can collaborate with into working and giving us authentic feng shui advice to increase our credibility with our clients. Now that we have tackled, yes?
Excuse me. Do you think that idea would be contradict with what you say today, the young people who like to buy something from Western, design, Western style? However, you suggest us to launch some feng shui design. Would it be totally, contradict with your idea? And would that be work?
I think I can take this question, and thank you very much. I think that there is an increasing trend that a lot of youngsters are looking at constellations and also the horoscopes instead of the Chinese traditional feng shui stuffs. But we believe that the split is not there's still a considerable amount of teenagers actually looking for feng shui, and we'll be saying that the difference between teenagers who pay attention to feng shui and the adults and older generation is that they have different aspirations. For example, teenagers, they put more emphasis on feng shui in terms of the academics aspirations, whereas for the older generations, they put more on health and also on family issues. So I think that there's still a market demand for this.
Okay. So now that we've tackled the online portion of our business, how do we translate that online business offline, which composes 95% of our business? So we propose that we're going to add special features to our brick and mortar stores in order to attract traffic. For example, we can set up gold statues or gold Buddhas in stores so that people would want to come and maybe touch it to get a little bit of the good fortune. And this takes reference to the John Harvard statue on Harvard campus, where everyone wants to take a photo of it and also touch his shoe for a little bit of blessing. Also, we have seen this work in Hong Kong when Hang Feng Jewelers, they installed a pure gold lavatory in their own store in order to attract more traffic and get more people to come.
Excuse me. So
Yes.
if we do this, will Jiaozhou perceived to be a non-scientific company promoting non-scientific religions?
Are you saying that are we...
By touching that brick and mortar store, you get good luck. It's not scientifically proven.
I think...
I think we would like to stress a little bit more point on it's going to be related to Chinese heritage culture rather than superstitions in this case.
Do you have evidence? Are there other companies, other industries that have used feng shui to increase their market share?
In the jewelers market, we have not identified such a trend, which we believe is why it is such a good opportunity to tap into.
How about other industries?
For some other industries, for example, say McDonald's, which is a very Western and it's related to the food market. But however, every year or some years, they also have them products related to horoscopes, and they also put in the luck of the customers related to different horoscopes during Chinese New Year. And we think that it's indeed a very attractive market for Chow Tai Fook to tap in because they have been proven success through other foreign brands.
What is the target segment that you are looking after?
This recommendation will be aiming at the mass luxury, and in terms of demographics, the spectrum is very, very wide. As Jessica previously talked about, we have the young people who would have aspirations in terms of academics and schoolwork, and then we have the older generation, who will like to purchase this for the aspiration of maybe health or prosperity, etc.
I think my question is like, with this Buddha or like whatever, good fortune things being put into a brick and mortar store, do you think that it will, affect the younger generations to, visit the Chow Tai Fook stores?
I think in terms of the details of what exactly to implement, our original thought was to create a lot of variation across all the stores in Chow Tai Fook. So it targets different segments. For example, you could have the Buddha, or you could have a magnificent piece of gold artwork inside the store. It really depends on increasing market research and what the customers turns out to exactly like. Okay. And also, in order to complement our marketing efforts, we will also increase the presence of CTF in China by setting up new stores aggressively in Tier 3 and 4 cities. We have identified a number of cities in China which are currently undersupplied with jewelry stores, and we believe that this is a great opportunity in which we can tap into and get the first mover advantage. Now I'd like to invite Christoph to go through our second and third recommendation.
Thank you, Shuyu. So as we have pointed out, our first recommendation focuses on moving Chow Tai Fook brand into a fortune luxury jewelry brand for the mass market. But we understand that the demands of Chinese customers are increasingly getting segmented, and we have seen that there is an increasing high luxury segment with very unique needs, which is why we recommend setting up the CTF Premier brand, which has a very distinct product offering, which will be different from Chow Tai Fook's product offering in a sense that it will be more international. It will provide more understated product with less flashy and fancy designs, because we found that this is what high-end, more sophisticated Chinese customers are increasingly looking forward to, and that brand can effectively address these differentiating needs from the mass luxury segment. On top of these services, on top of this distinct product offering, we are also recommending to providing unique services, like the opportunity for customers of CTF Premier to meet with a CTF product designer, as well with a renowned feng shui master, to design a Chow Tai, a piece of jewelry which is very distinct, which will meet their individual needs for beauty of the piece of jewelry, as well as give them the biggest blessing for what exactly they are looking for as a blessing in their life. So on top of the products and services, we understand that the overall shopping experience is again fundamental for most luxury customers. So we envision CTF Premier shopping as providing large shopping spaces with a relatively limited number of products showcased in order to create an aura of exclusivity. Customers who will be going through the stores will be provided with snacks and light refreshment, as well as there will be play areas for children so that the parents can exclusively focus on the overall shopping experience. And also there will be private customer servicing areas so that customers really get the most tailor-made and personal experience, and all this in order to create the overall experience of high-end luxury shopping. And of course, we understand that in the end, the store staff will be most crucial in providing this overall luxury experience, which is why we recommend to choose only the best Chow Tai Fook staff members to work at the CTF Premier stores. So our first two recommendations talk about how to generate sales, and our third recommendation is more about providing after-sales services, how to retain customers, and how to generate revenue in the long run. So what we would like to introduce to you today is the jewelry market maker service. We've already mentioned it briefly. Let us elaborate. It is basically a service where customers can track the market value of their pieces of jewelry, and they will have the chance to sell their pieces of jewelry back at a market rate plus a discount.
Excuse me, how to do, I mean, how to track, how we can do.
How to track the market value, yeah.
It's a system that consists of it's a system where we track all the jewelry you purchased from Chow Tai Fook in terms of the market value, and it also provides a buyback service or buyback guarantee where we buy back the jewelry, not to mention the gold, but also the jewelry like the gem set jewelry from the customers at a market discount. So this on one hand provides it satisfies the investment needs for people to look at how much their gold are worthing right now. And on the other hand, it also provides the liquidity, I just talked a little bit before, that these middle or mid-low class people are looking for, and thus allowing them to fulfill their store of value purpose.
So to get back, so overall the jewelry market maker service, they will have the opportunity to sell back their products at a discount. Also, they will have the chance to see news on the price developments of gold, diamonds, and jewelry in general. And also, they will have the chance to be provided with an authenticity certificate if they want to sell their jewelry through other means, all to satisfy the investment needs that some customers possess. We've decided to make this service available at a price of 2% of the product purchase price so that they are eligible for selling the product back to Chow Tai Fook at a market discount price.
How frequently do the Chinese consumers actually sell back their gold? Do you know? I mean, my sense is it's very rare, and it's only in emergencies.
Yes, they do not necessarily sell back very frequently, but having the opportunity might make them more confident to buy more expensive jewelry because they feel in periods of financial hardship, they will have the chance to go back. So overall, this service, one main idea of this is of creating synergies and creating customers to more making purchases in the store, not necessarily for investment needs, but also for just personal customer needs.
I do question, the value proposition for the customer. And what is the customer? He's going to pay 2% of the purchase price. You're going to send him some newsletters that he can pick up online anywhere he wants. You're going to buy back the jewelry at a discount to what the market value is. I mean, it'd be great if you could load up a lot of customers with this product, but I wouldn't see why they'd be buying it.
I think the answer to this question would be twofold. First of all, it's that the 2% is actually a guaranteed buyback instead of a general buyback. So basically, if you pay the 2% extra, we'll be guaranteed that all jewelry, or if not most of the jewelry technically possible, that's sold by Chow Tai Fook would be able to sold back anytime. This happens...
And sold back at what price? Sorry, maybe I'm
at a price that we offer. So basically, when they want to sell, we would provide, as a market maker, we provide a bid price, and that depends on how the market looks like. In the worst case, if everyone want to dump their jewelry to us, we'll set a bit of lower bid. If we are okay, then we can set a higher bid for those who pay the extra.
And you're going to be bidding this out, or you're going to be pricing this out at scrap value, the price of gold. So
it depends. Oh, that's quite a technical question, but I would say currently Chow Tai Fook's already doing that on the precious metal part. We can expand that and dig into a little bit on the research on how we can turn these gem set jewelry or used jewelry into new ones. So that takes into our cost of revamping and all the other processes.
On top of providing jewelry market maker services, which addresses the investment needs, we also think about providing cleaning and maintenance service, which again caters more the luxury needs for a well-rounded long-term luxury experience for the customers. So wealthy customers who have very precious pieces of jewelry, they might want to have the experience of a constantly well-maintained pieces of jewelry set, and with this cleaning and maintenance service, they can be provided with exactly this experience of a luxury experience, which will be provided all year round.
So, question on the cleaning and maintenance services. This is really provided by a lot of retailers or companies. How would you make it different or unique to Chow Tai Fook?
Well, Chow Tai Fook is already focusing very much on establishing good customer relationships. So through having good customer relationships, we believe that customers will be more inclined to do this kind of shopping with Chow Tai Fook. And the general idea of the recommendation tends a little bit in the direction of providing a one-stop shop where customers can have all their luxury-related inquiries and purchases with Chow Tai Fook, since we can provide the whole offering to customers who trust Chow Tai Fook. Okay, and on the implementation side, for everything that we're offering, customer relationship management will be very crucial. So Chow Tai Fook already has a CRM database in place, and all we want to point out is that it is important to incorporate additional information acquired, like from the online feng shui profile or from the premier customers, in order to, again, adjust the product offering accordingly based on how the customer needs are developing, and to provide customized messages as well as customized product offerings online, and to train the staff accordingly as how customers need their service to be catered, how they want it to be. So having looked at the 3 recommendations, let's look a little bit in more detail how we're planning to implement them.
Thank you, Christoph. So we see that for the first recommendation that we're suggesting today, we think that capturing the mass luxury market is the most easier thing among the 3 that we could do, and it gives us the most significant financial impact. So we see that the first thing we do is to expand this recommendation and kickstart the feng shui or the good blessing type of marketing campaign within 2014. As for the CTF Premier, we understand that effort might have to be contributed in revamping the stores, as well as breaking through the high net worth communities. And that's why we think 2015 might be a better time for us to fully kickstart it. For the jewelry market making services, currently Chow Tai Fook is already providing buyback services to precious metals such as gold and platinum. But we think that overall, the jewelry market does not consist only of these precious metals, but also jewelry like gem set and carat gold. And we believe that by launching a beta in 2014, we'll be able to make sure that all the implementation risks as well as the implementation difficulties will be overcome in 2016. Throughout all these periods, we believe that constant market research as well as aggressive sales and marketing would be crucial to the success of our recommendations. So there are 3 resources that we identify Chow Tai Fook would have to allocate into our recommendations. The most important one we see is staff and labor. We think that recruitment as well as training for high-quality sales frontline staff would be very important. And that they have to, on one hand, pursue top-line revenue, of course, but on the other hand, we also hope to help these sales staff to upsell their products in the store. And we believe that by hooking up customer satisfaction with their incentives in form of other bonus or options would be a good way to incentivize these people to pursue both top-line and upselling revenues. And we believe that the staff cost should allocate no more than the sales of 7.5%. Other 2 resources that we identify would be financial resources on marketing as well as upfront investments. We see aggressive marketing needs in both the mass luxury market for the feng shui theme or for good blessing themes, as well as in the high net worth market, which is a completely different market segment. And we see different market strategies for that. For upfront investments also, we would allocate a lot of capex, which amounts to around 3% of the sales next year. So what we see for Chow Tai Fook's revenue in 2, 3, 4 years of time, we think that the revenue projections are based on 2 key matrices. The most important one is revenue generated per store or per point of sales. We believe that our recommendation today enhances this ratio in 2-fold. First of all, we increases the customer consumption frequency. And secondly, we enlarge the entire customer base or the entire customer population for Chow Tai Fook in China. And thus, we see that when compared to other market consensus and the base case assumptions from the brokers of our revenue per POS, we can achieve 360 million per store, sales per store in 2018. And that's a very decent number that we can have achieved.
Excuse me, you're talking about, the sales. Have you considered what kind of product would be more sellable? Say we have gold, we have diamond, we have carat gold. So what can help us to push the sales?
I realized that 2-3 days ago, Chow Tai Fook actually issued a profit surprise, which is congratulations. But we see that gold products is actually a very important key revenue driver for Chow Tai Fook. And of course, we continuously see this as a revenue engine. But of course, on the other hand, we do not forfeit the gem set as well as the other products, given that we have the jewelry market making services and all the all the in-store experiences. But overall, gold products or gold-related products remain the very strong revenue growth engine for Chow Tai Fook.
However, gold, which is highly competitive in the market and the low margin, how you can improve the margin and increase the market share?
I believe that the recommendation today of ours is it's mainly about upselling. Upselling means we're selling the same product, but yielding a larger margin. So by incorporating themes such as feng shui or other good blessing fortune themes, we'll be able to sell probably the same piece of jewelry at a higher price or at a premium. And that's how we enlarge the margin or sort of upsell our products in Chow Tai Fook based on what we have got in the market. So the industry trends are inevitable, but we are trying to weather through these challenges in the recommendations. Okay. So the next one would be the POS network, or number of stores that we're expanding.
Can I ask a question? This out of your revenue growth, the 284 to the 90 million or so, 284 to 369.
Yep.
How much of that growth is coming from same-store sales versus increased locations? What's the breakup?
I think that I would say that the same store, the SSSG we would try to maintain. So one of our KPIs would be same store sales growth, and when we work on our revenue and we work on our plannings, we would try to be able to maintain the same store sales growth as market expected. And on the other hand, we would expand based on what we've got in the same store sales growth. So it's an interactive process where we get our markets. So what we have talked most about today is the fragmented Chinese jewelry market. We see two types of consumer purposes: store of value as well as emotional or event driven. For store of value, we have the jewelry market making services to help them cater their liquidity needs. And for the emotional driven people, we target both in terms of the customer experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Nice 30-second conclusion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christoph.